everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and today I'm going to be doing a scrapbook layout. But before I get started, I did want to mention that I had a little bit of a problem with my video file. It got corrupted and I lost the audio portion of this video, and so my hand movements may not match what I'm saying because I did have to do a voiceover. So it may look a little bit weird, but that's the reason why. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the video. I'm going to be doing a scrapbook layout for the scrapr-blogspot.com challenge for the month of March, and this is the color and stash challenge. Now this challenge is open until the end of March, so you have until March 29th to finish your layout and then turn it in. And I will leave a link in the description below to the scrapr-blogspot.com website so that you can get all the information you need to join in. So for this challenge, what you're going to do is use the color shown here as inspiration for your layout. And also you will need to use a stash item for each letter in your first name. And so I was super excited about this challenge until I realized that I was going to have to find a stash item in my craft room that started with the letter K, because I couldn't think of anything. I know there's a couple of manufacturers like Kaisercraft and K & Company, but when I thought about the different papers that I have for those companies, the colors, I don't think I have anything really with these colors. And so then I was thinking, you know, I should be able to find some kind of an embellishment that starts with K. And I was looking around my craft room and I couldn't find anything in my craft room that started with the letter K. So then I started looking at just words, what starts with the letter K, and I came up with the word key, and I thought, well, maybe that might work. I'm sure I have something, some kind of pattern paper, or I know I have like some stickers that have keys on them. I just have to find them. And I did kind of look around, and I just wasn't finding anything. So I decided that I was going to try to use my Cricut to make some embellishments. And I thought that would be fun, especially since this year for 2020, I really want to make it a priority to start using my Cricut more when I scrapbook. Because in the past, I've primarily been using my Cricut as a kind of more to do card making. So this is going to be a good opportunity to do that. And then I thought, well, it would be really fun if I could find some images in Cricut and then make them match these colors in the challenge. And so I really had a lot of fun trying to figure out how to do that. So I will be creating some tutorials on how to use Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to focus on creating embellishments and titles and border strips and things that you would use in scrapbooking. And the first tutorial that I'm going to be doing is going to be to show you how to change the colors on images and cut files so that you can perfectly match your scrapbooking paper or the project that you're working on. So if you're interested in learning more about Cricut and how to use the Cricut Design Space for your scrapbooking, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that you get notified when I put my next video up, because that will be the Cricut tutorial video. Okay, so let's get back to talking about what stash items I'm going to be using for each letter in my name. And I did go ahead and search through the Cricut software to see if I can figure out what images I had available that were shaped like a key. And I came across this really cute image that is a quote, and it says, "Crafting is the key to my heart." And I just thought that was so cute, and I thought, well, I should be able to do something with that. And then I also looked through the rest of the images, and I found this really cute key. So I created this key in several different colors, and that's one of the things that's really cool about using Cricut Design Space, is that you can customize the images that you find there. And so I was able to make keys in yellow, blue, and light pink to match this challenge. And so I thought that was a really cool way to create some embellishments to be the colors that I needed for my project. I also created two different versions of the quote, one with a black background and one with a light pink background. And okay, so that's it for the K. Now I'm going to bring in some alphas for the letter A in my name. And I want to do a title, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be using these pictures of me that I took when I was at a crop last year. I went to the Scrapbook crop in Mandeville, Louisiana back in March with a couple of my friends, Tina and Judy. And this is a picture of me at the crop, and then also a picture of some of the layouts that I was working on. And I thought these pictures went really well with the colors in this challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and use these large black foam alphas and spell out the word crop. And then we're going to also use some small mini alphas probably to do something else with that title. I don't really know what my title is going to be yet, but I did want to pull in some alphas, and so I'm not going to be using the quote as my title, but I'm going to be using the combination of the thickers, and then I'm going to pull in some smaller block letters. And I'm kind of looking through my sticker book here to see if I can just quickly find something. And I think maybe I'll just wait until I get further into the layout. Once I have the layout kind of, getting started with it, I'll pull in another one of those mini alphas. Okay, so the next letter is R, and for that I'm going to be using some ribbon. I have this white Stampin' Up! Ribbon, and I wanted to take the keys, and I'm going to be using the ribbon to kind of tie the three keys together and kind of hang the keys from the ribbon. So I think that'll be pretty cute. I'm also going to be using multiple copies of those keys and gluing them together to make kind of more like a chipboard to make it a little bit sturdier. So when I tie them with the ribbon, it'll kind of hold up a little bit better. Okay, so next up is the letter E, and I'm going to bring in some enamel dots, and I have these really pretty pink sparkly dots that I got from Michaels and their Recollections. And then I also have some enamel dots that are like a white glitter. Those are also Recollections. And then I have these enamel dots from Gina K Designs. And I think these are so pretty, and I think it matches the paper and the embellishments that I'm going to be using really well. Okay, so then the last letter that I have here is N. And for N, I decided to bring in a notebook punch. And I haven't used this punch in a while, and it's one of the things I really love about doing challenges is that sometimes you look outside of the things that you use a lot and go for other things in your stash. So I haven't used this punch in a while, but I do like it a lot, and so I'm really excited about using it for this layout. Okay, so I'm also going to be bringing in this chipboard that I got from Tuesday Mornings. It's from the I Am collection from Simple Stories. And I think this collection is so pretty, and I think the colors really match the challenge colors. And I do have a couple of sheets of the paper from that collection, as well as the 12 by 12 cardstock sticker sheet. And so I think I'll have quite a bit to work with here for my embellishments. Now here's the paper I'm going to be using. I just love this yellow floral paper. I just think that is just the most gorgeous color of yellow. So I'm going to be using that as my background. And I have these cut parts on the back, but I'm okay with sacrificing those. I also had this paper, which was really cute. It was words on a black background, and I did bring in quite a bit of black to my layout, so I ended up not using that paper, but I think it's super pretty, and it has some gold foiling on it, and I just love that, so I'm going to save that for another layout. But I also have this floral, and the floral I thought matched the colors in the challenge really well. It had like the blue, the pink, and the yellow, and it was also on a black background. So that's everything I'm going to be using for this layout. Now I hadn't decided yet whether I was going to use this particular quote with the black background or the one with the light pink background, but I will figure that out once I get into creating the layout. I did like them both, and at this point I kind of thought the black was standing out too much, but if I bring in that black foam alpha, I think that it will work out okay. So I have a short video clip of my two dogs, Bella and Lilybell, at the end of this video. So if you want to see that, be sure to stick around to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up and then walk you through the rest of this layout. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off by gluing together my keys to kind of make like a faux chipboard. And I wasn't planning to do this, but when I was creating these with my Cricut using the print and cut, the calibration was off on my machine. So I just recently purchased the Cricut Maker back when they had that really awesome sale a couple weeks ago. And then I had a Cricut Explorer, which I gifted to my mom, who just recently started scrapbooking. And so that'll be something fun that we can do together, and she'll have a machine to play with. But anyway, so I had all these extra keys, and I thought that'd be really cool if I just, glued a bunch of these together and made them a little bit more substantial, so that when I put the ribbon around it, it's going to be a little bit easier. And I thought they came out really cute. So I'm using the art glitter glue to glue these together, and it's my favorite glue. I just love it because it's so easy to use. You barely even have to press the bottle to get the glue to come out. And it does dry pretty quickly, but you still have a bit of time to kind of move things around to get things lined up. And I love working with that glue. It makes it so easy to do things like this. Okay, so now I've got my keys created. I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm just going to tie it around these keys. And I thought that was so pretty. I just love how that came out. And I got to try to figure out how I'm going to put that on my layout, but for now I'm just going to set that aside and I'm going to start working on my title. So I'm pulling out these black foam thickers and I'm going to spell out the word crop. And then I'm going to look through my alphabet sticker book that I have here, and I want to try to find something that's going to go with this layout. So I kind of put everything there, so as I'm flipping through this book, I can kind of just get an idea of what may work. And if y'all are interested in how I created this sticker book, I have a video on my channel where I shared how I created this sticker book, and I will put a link to that video in the description below. So I found these letters from, I think they're from Freckled Fawn, and they're really pretty. It's like a white background with a silver foil letter. And I'm going to use those to make up the rest of my title, which is going to be At the Crop. Okay, so I'm going to put this sticker book aside and I'm going to start working on trying to figure out what I'm going to be using as far as papers and whether or not I wanted to use the die cut here that has the black background or the light pink background. So I didn't really have a plan for how I was going to do this layout, or other than, picking these papers out, I didn't really know how I was going to do this layout. And so I really wanted to use that yellow as the background because I thought that was such a pretty paper and I didn't want to cover it up. I thought about using a black mat for my pictures, but in the end I decided to use this white mat. I decided to use the white mat because I didn't really have much white in the layout, and I was going to be using those little block letters that were silver and white, and I wanted to bring in more white. So I'm going to go ahead and get out these We Are Memory Keepers layering guides. I'm using the 1/8 inch layering guide, and I'm just going to use this blade and I'm going to go around the entire picture and create a mat. Now if you watched some of my other videos, you know that this tool is one of my favorite tools in my craft room. I love using these layering guides to create mats for my photos, and it's one of the things that I think really helps me because I really have trouble doing that with the paper trimmer. So I was trying to decide how I wanted to do the background, and I decided that I wanted to do most of the background with the yellow pattern paper and then just use a strip on the left hand side of that floral. And so I'm going to take a really thin piece of white cardstock and I'm going to go ahead and cut this yellow pattern paper down to an 8 by 12, and I'm going to glue that onto this really thin paper. Now I have a bunch of that paper. I think I got like a scrapbook or something, like one of those Hot Buy paper pad scrapbook albums, and it's got some really cheap paper inside the page protectors, and so I use that paper to do things like this because I would never use that for anything else. It's like the thinnest, cheapest paper ever. So I'm just going to use that white cardstock. I don't even call it cardstock, it's paper. I use that white paper to piece this together, and I'm going to make sure it is a 12 by 12, and I'm using this paper trimmer to kind of cut it down and make sure that it's all even all the way around. And I really love how this is coming out with that those two pattern papers together. I just think that that's so pretty. And I really do love the black with this particular paper as well. Even though it doesn't match the black that's in the background of that floral print, I still think that it's going to work out because I have that black in several different places on my layout. And I was also going to be bringing in some stickers that had black in there as well. So I wanted to use a paper and use that notebook punch to punch the edge. And I thought about using that paper with the words and the black background, but I wasn't sure how that would look with that punch and if it would really stand out enough. So I decided that I was just going to use some white cardstock and that would pull in more of the white into the layout. And I'm just going to make a border strip with this notebook punch and just like a 1 inch by 12-inch border strip, and I'm going to use that kind of as a divider between my floral pattern paper and the yellow pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and try out this border strip here, and I kind of thought it looked a little plain, and so I'm going to kind of jazz it up a little bit and add in some washi tape. And I tried to look at some yellow washi tape, and I didn't really find anything in there in my washi bin that I liked. And so I'm going to pull in these pink washies, and I tried out a couple of different ones. There was this one that had kind of like a, I don't know what you call that, a lattice pattern, and it was pink with gold. And then there was another one that I tried out that had polka dots. And I thought the one with the polka dots was a little busy, so I'm going to go with the one that was kind of like a lattice design. And I thought that was really pretty. I'm also going to bring in a black washi tape, and it's a very thin washi tape, and it's black with gold. And I really liked how that looked. I kind of wish, though, at this point I would have stuck all that down, but I wasn't too sure I was going to leave it there. And so I kind of just temporarily just placed it there, and then it started getting stuck to everything. So yeah, if you're working with washi, I think sometimes it's a good idea to just make sure it's stuck on your page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this black washi there and try that out. And I did like that better. I thought it was just really added a little bit and it drew more of the black into that border strip. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue all this down because it was getting stuck on everything. And I think that sometimes if you have something like that where you have some adhesive and it's not stuck down, that you run the risk of it getting on your pictures or tearing your paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that all glued down. Now I'm using a T-square ruler, and I have a lot of trouble lining things up, so I like to use a T-square ruler because it helps to make sure that you have things on straight. So I'm going to go ahead and add that black washi on there, and I thought that looked really pretty. Now this die cut that I had made, I had several different ones that I had tried out, different colors, and I wanted to make that more dimensional, so I layered 3 of those together, and the white on the edges was kind of showing, so I decided that I was going to cover that up. So I took a black Sharpie and I just went around the entire piece and colored the edge. So I really like how that turned out, and also love the little keys that I made. And it really does make me want to use my Cricut more for scrapbooking because it's so awesome to be able to create custom embellishments for a layout. So, okay, so now I'm going to try to figure out what to do with these keys. I did love the keys, but I was kind of struggling a little bit about the placement of them because they kind of look like they were floating. And I wanted to put them there next to that quote, but then there wasn't, I really wanted the quote to be centered over the border strip, but then it didn't seem like there was enough space there to put the keys. So I was kind of struggling a little bit with that. But in the end, I did get it on there and I thought it looked really cute. I guess I was kind of worried about the keys looking disjointed like they were floating. Because one of the things I think that's important when you're doing scrapbooking is you want to have things grounded and you want your embellishment clusters and things to be touching. Because if you just have things floating on your layout and there's nothing next to it or touching it, then sometimes it just doesn't look like it's grounded. It doesn't look right. So I did want to make sure that the keys were touching something or that they look like they were part of that embellishment cluster. Okay, so I'm going to work on getting this title on, and this took me forever to get these letters on straight and lined up, and I decided to put them there at the bottom underneath the pictures, and I thought that really looked cute. I love that pop of black on the bottom of the layout, and then there's that pop of black on the top where the quote is. And then there's some black in the picture as well. So I think that just really drew the black around the page. And I'm going to go ahead and what I'm doing here is I'm trying to glue together the keys to kind of make them stay in the position. I wanted them to kind of be spread apart so you could see all three keys. So I glued them together so that they would stay like that. And while I was working with the layout and trying to figure out the placement for the keys. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten my ribbon a little bit because the keys ended up being really close to the top of the layout and I didn't want the ribbon to go off the page. And I'm going to go ahead and use my ATG to glue that down. And I used the ATG because I wanted to make sure I really liked it there, because if you use liquid glue, the chances of getting that back up without tearing the paper is probably like 0. And if you use ATG, you have a better chance of moving something without tearing your paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling in some embellishments. And when I was looking at this chipboard, there was a key right there. So I couldn't believe that. As much as I was looking at this collection and the stickers, that I did not realize that there was actual key in that chipboard. So anyway, I decided to pull in this chipboard banner. And then I also had pulled in a little chipboard set of books down there that I put next to my title. And I just used my Brad Setter pokey tool to kind of punch out all the places where there was still chipboard that needed to come out. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick these down. I really liked how that came out, and I'm not going to add too many embellishments to this layout because I think that this layout with this really pretty yellow pattern paper and that floral paper, it just kind of really, I just really wanted the attention to be, I guess, on the pattern paper and on the pictures, and then also on the embellishments that I created. I wasn't going to add a lot of extra stuff to this layout. I did bring in a couple of these little black stickers from the cardstock sticker sheet, and that's going to end up going on that banner right there. I'm looking for something here on the sticker sheet that I can put up in the cluster with the keys, and so I found another little black word sticker that I'm going to put up there. And I really love adding word stickers to my layout because I think it tells a story, especially when you don't do any journaling on a layout. So I did decide to pop that up onto some foam tape, and I'm going to pop both of those word stickers up into some foam tape just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension and separate it a little bit more from what's underneath it. So the last thing I'm going to do is add some enamel dots, and I decided to use these ones from Gina K Designs. I'm going to use all 3 colors, and I'm going to put them on each cluster. I ended up with only 2 clusters on this layout. It's kind of a diagonal design, and so I think that's going to finish off this layout. Now if you want to stick around to the end of this video, I have some close-ups of this layout, and then at the very end of the video I have that clip of my 2 dogs, Bella and Lilybell. So I hope y'all enjoyed this scrapbook process video, and if you did, please give this video a like, and if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. And don't forget to check back on my channel. I'm going to be doing that Cricut tutorial video. It's going to be coming up soon. And we'll see you next time. Bye now. Girls, what y'all doing? What you doing, B? Are you tired? Did I disturb your nap? sit? Are you gonna come see me? What you doing, Judy? You're yawning. Hello, Miss B. What you doing, Miss B? Are you being a good girl? Yeah? Did you have fun outside? I had to go chase you around the yard. Yeah, you and Lilywell wouldn't come back inside. I know. I don't know what you were chasing out there. Did you have fun? And there's Miss Lilybell over there. What were y'all chasing out in the yard, Lilybell? They were running around the yard. I couldn't get them to come inside and they were barking. I know. They're usually pretty good about listening to me. There was something, they kept running around this little orange tree we have, like there was something in the tree. They like to go outside and chase things at night. A lot of times they capture, or they find possums on the fence. And then they run around trying to get the possums. How you doing, Miss Lilybell? Is that bed comfortable? Do you like it? You're not sure? Can you say hi to the YouTube world? Hi, Bee. Can you say hi? Can you speak? Okay. Can you say something else? Yeah? What's that mean? Do you want to go to bed? Is it your time to go to bed? It's late at night, huh? You're probably tired from running around the yard so much. Yeah, I was running around like little bunnies. Just like a little bunny hopping around. Jumping up and down under the tree. What you doing, Lilybell? Come here. What you doing, baby? Are you being a good girl? Being a good girl? You all look tired. Did you have fun chasing around outside? Yeah, you're tired. You gonna go to bed? You gonna go to bed? Yeah. Okay. Night night.